you wanted a walk where you could see how its rocky bones shape the Northumberland landscape, then this is the walk for you. There is nowhere else in Britain where it is more obvious how rocks influence the way our land looks. Geology literally provides the bedrock, a three-dimensional canvas for vegetation, for wildlife, and for us.
Walk is around 5 miles, on a mixture of footpaths, heather and rough pasture. It starts at Houstead's Visitor Centre and goes uphill to the west of the fort. Top of the ridge, we reach Hadrian's Wall itself, and one of the only sections you can walk along. Built by 5 Roman legions in AD 122, it stretches almost 80 miles from Wall's End to Bowness-on-Solway. Before long, we pass a mile castle, number 37, and as there are 80 of them, we aren't too far from the midpoint of the wall.
There's another virtual walk we could do, one all about the history and archaeology of the wall area. But this story is about rocks. We humans are but latecomers to this landscape.
Hadrian and his engineers knew their rocks. They chose a ridge of hard rock to build the frontier of their empire. It's called dolerite. Quarrymen call it the Win Sill. Win because it's very hard, and sill because that's a layer of flat-lying rock. Around 295 million years ago, it was molten. It was injected in between the existing Carboniferous rocks, a bit like jam in a Victoria sponge. It cooled, contracted, and solidified, which is why once molten rocks often have these vertical fractures and joints, just like the Giant's Causeway. Millions of years of earth movements and erosion have left this very hard rock sticking proudly out of the Northumbrian landscape. We'll leave the wall for now and go north to look at the rocks that sit beneath the Win Sill, alternating sandstone, shales, coals and limestones. It's this alternation of harder rocks, the sandstones and the limestones, with softer rocks, the shales and the siltstones, and the fact that they erode differently, that gives us this classic scarp and dip landscape. Cuestas, shaped by millions of years of erosion, and especially by ice sheets in the last 2 million years. We head up the slope, which is pretty much the angle at which all the rocks have been tilted. They slope, geologists would say dip, consistently southwards at an angle of about 10 degrees. Limestone is what we have here. There is a series of little quarries and a typical kiln with 2 pots. Lumps of limestone and coal were tipped into the top and burnt, and lime was raked out of the bottom for agriculture and for mortar. Kilns like this are a common feature of the Northumberland landscape. On the Pennine Way for a bit, up and down some low ridges whose alternating vegetation of heather, short green grass and rushes hints at the alternating rocks below. We turn northeast near the aptly named Crag End, the finish of a sandstone ridge which overlooks Greenley Lough, and just a bit further west has a stone circle and medieval enclosure. Base of a sandstone scarp, there's a spring, Jingling Well. We cut southeast to the northern shore of Broomley Lough, one of 16 loughs in Northumberland, and like the others in this area, this lough sits in a depression carved out by a slow-moving ice sheet.
This is a rare feature in Northumberland, a limestone pavement. It happens when an ice sheet scrapes off all the soil and rock off the surface of the limestone. That leaves it open to the elements.
Rain absorbs carbon dioxide from the air, and the weak carbonic acid eats into the joints in the limestone, leaving this natural pavement. The blocks are called clints and the fissures are called grikes. Good Northern English terms. Back along the ridge to Queen's Crags, a sandstone escarpment notable for 2 things. One is the large fallen block of sandstone that looks like a giant tooth. It's popular with climbers. The other is a well-hidden bit of graffiti carved in the sandstone by 3 Roman soldiers who were perhaps sheltering from the weather. Time to head south, and some amazing views of the Win Sill Ridge. Back to Hadrian's Wall through Busy Gap, and into the security of the Empire. And to finish off, a sting in the tail. A few ups and downs along Hadrian's Wall Trail before we reach Housesteads.
So why does the ridge, the wall and the trail undulate so much? All those vicious ups and downs? Well, the wind still has weak points, and the ice sheet and its meltwater probed and eroded them. So, if you like, you can blame geology or geologists for those tired legs.